What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We're back with another tier list. United is not playing for 24 days. Well, what is it now? Like 21 days at this point?
Yeah, feels like an eternity and a lifetime.
It's a long time. So we thought we'd fill it with a tier list. A lot of weird transfers floating around about various positions. Maybe we do it for every position, but we're going to start with midfield. Joined by Nick and Shreyas. Lads, are we all right on a... We're recording this on a Thursday, but it probably goes out on a Friday. So, yeah, looking forward to the weekend. But no football.
I've just had some blueberry muffins delivered by the sister.
Nice.
I don't know if you're a fan of blueberry muffins or not, but
yeah.
If you are watching, which I doubt you are, top quality stuff. So it's a good way to start the tier list. If there was a tier list, that'd be in top tier.
That's maybe for after dark. We can do that one.
Yeah.
And Shreyas, you got a Ajax kit, I want to say?
Yep.
Nice. I like it. It's very, very bright, like I would say.
Yeah, I mean, United has got a bright future. I hope so.
We hope.
So,
we hope.
Yeah, we wear bright kits on the channel now. And 24 days without club football. International break usually tends to slow things down.
Yep.
It becomes a bit boring. But again, hopefully, throughout these 24 days, none of our players get injured. All of them, return back to full fitness. And, perhaps maybe the players that we've already got out injured can come back, to full fitness by the time we've got the season coming back along as well. So I guess it is definitely a break and it, disturbs the rhythm, but could prove fruitful for us.
Hopefully.
When you look at the players we've got out, if even 2 or 3 of them come back, it gives us a good boost.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're all supporting Ireland tonight, right? Like, hopefully they beat Republic, go through to the World Cup. Wait, what's this?
Let me ask you a question.
Nick. We are Irish, like, descendants.
If it was on the shoes on the opposite foot, do you think they'd be supporting us?
Oh, absolutely not, no. But they hate us, but for good reason. So I get it.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? we took all the potatoes away, so yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
But anyway, these players are not potatoes. These players are potential absolute full course dinners. So let's get into it, shall we? I've got some stats on each player, so if you don't know so much about them, which I had to dig into a couple of these guys because I don't know who they are, a couple of them. But we'll start with somebody that we know. First one here, Mr. Tyler Adams.
I thought you was going to say Mr. Potato then.
Mr. Potato Head.
It's just potato themed. Yeah. Everything's potato themed.
We'll stick with here's Mr. Potato, here's the waffle, here's the chips, like all that sort of stuff. But yeah, Tyler Adams from Bournemouth. He is 27 years old, so he's a little bit older than traditionally where we like to go. He's right-footed, plays for Bournemouth. I'm not going to say he's a fantastic player. I'm not going to say that, but he's played 18 games this season, played an average of 80 minutes. He's passing 58 touches per game. Not a lot of chances created. He's a more of a defensive player, so 1.6 interceptions per game, 2.2 tackles per game, 4.2 balls recovered per game, errors leading to goals 0. So, yeah, like a solid sort of defensive midfielder, potential replacement for Casemiro. Nick, Tyler Adams, thoughts?
As a direct replacement for Casemiro, no. I feel like sometimes people may overlook these type of signings.
Yes.
It's like depth options. I always talk about your Norgards and Jorginhos and those types. And I definitely think we need that because, and I'm sure we'll get into it a little bit later on, but in terms of the options that are going to be missing and depth and whoever it is, whether it's Ugarte, Cass, etc., you're going to need bodies in the middle of the park when you're in 4 competitions playing 70 games across the season, right? So I never turn my nose up at these type of signings, but there's 2 there from Bournemouth. I'll get onto the other one in a minute.
Yeah.
But Tyler Adams, for me, I think this is kind of his peak at the minute. I don't think you're going to get any more squeeze out of him. So for me, it's, you know what I mean?
He's probably performing at the top of his level at the minute, is it?
Yeah.
I'll go into the tiers as well. I forgot to do that at the beginning. So top tiers must sign. So players like we think will have a transformative impact on United. The next one is great if we can, but it might be a bit difficult due to finances or competition. Backup options, which are players that if we don't get our first choice players, maybe we could go for these guys. Unlikely is players that we probably won't get or unlikely to go after, and then absolutely not players we should just not go for, like just not avoid at all costs. Shreyas, where are you thinking with Tyler Adams? Are you in this similar vein to Nick? Like potential is like at his peak, but nothing more than that.
Yeah, I think I would say the same, because the reason being, again, for a like replacement, someone to start for us week in and week out, I don't think he's the guy to come in for Casemiro. But if you have to look at it from an angle, like if it was coming off from the bench, like if you had to pick him or Ugarte, I would rather go lean towards Tyler Adams, because he's just tidy midfielder, not that expansive in his play, not someone that you have to bring on if you want to make those sort of line breaking passes, or if you want someone to dictate the pace of the game. He's not that sort of a midfielder. But for to someone to look at from the bench and go, okay, I just need to close out this game, then he's someone then that you can take a look at. Again, it also comes to the fact as to how much Bournemouth will be looking to actually sell him for, because the past few seasons they've been really good when it comes to selling their players. Last season
they bought him for 27 million from Leeds, so I imagine they're going to want to recoup that or get and maybe a bit more.
Yeah, but I think he's a solid midfielder, but only from a backup perspective, not from a starting perspective.
Yeah, where are you putting him, Nick? Backup, unlikely, or just no, like not?
Can I just say, if we're sticking with potato themed, I'd like to go with Tater Adams, if we can.
Nice.
Let's just throw that in there.
I expect that for every single player now. You're gonna have to.
Okay, no problem. I'll whip up something. Yeah. I would go. I think it's quite harsh saying absolutely not.
Yeah.
But I'll go unlikely.
Unlikely. Yes.
Unlikely. Let's take him unlikely then. You spoke of the other Bournemouth player, Alex Scott. I've been really impressed with him, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Like, last couple of months, I think he's absolutely stood up. Scored an absolute fucking worldie. He hit the bar, didn't he? And hit the goalie against us. Yeah, he's capable of really good shots. I was getting to a couple of his stats here. So again, 22, so he's a bit more into the age bracket where we sort of look at. Strengths, he's got no outstanding strengths and no outstanding weaknesses, which, I mean, you could look at that one way, you could look at it another, but 2 goals this season, 1 assist, but again, his defensive work is where he sort of really shines. 1.2 interceptions per game, 1.6 tackles per game, balls recovered per game 4.8, clearances per game 2.2, errors leading to goals and shots 0. But he has committed a penalty and has got a few yellers. How are you feeling about Alex Scott, Nick?
Alex Scott, I think he's a top player. I think he's unlucky not to get into the England team, although Casemiro obviously is equally done as well. I think maybe if you just look at it without rose-tinted glasses, they're not far away from each other in terms of how well they've been performing. I think Alex Scott has been really
similar
good.
Age as well.
Yeah, he has been top for Bournemouth. So he would be higher in the bracket than Tyler Adams. It's hard to say he won't be a starter because he's doing it week in, week out for Bournemouth. But again, United's a different club.
It's another level in it, and he's going to potentially be in the Champions League.
European football. And I think if he doesn't go to the World Cup, that might set him back a little bit in terms of his ambitions for what kind of club that he wants to go to. So I would happily have him as a backup option.
Yeah.
Would he be a backup option? That would be my question. Just well.
Yeah, it depends how many. Like, obviously, we're gonna have a lot of games. Is he the partner for Casemiro, or do you think he's a Menu rotation option?
Is that for me or Shreyas? Sorry.
No, I think he can be a good partner to Mino, because one of the things that I really like about him is that he's highly versatile. In that Bournemouth setup, he's played as a 10. He's played off as, that box-to-box player. He's played as an out-and-out defensive midfielder as well. So he's functioned in a lot of different areas, and he's been quality in both, in all those positions. And I think he doesn't get as much credit as he should, because I think people, fixate more on the likes of Elliot Anderson, Adam Wharton, and he sort of, misses the radar for a lot of people. But I think he's been solid this season, perhaps one of the more underrated players this season who has been performing quite consistently. And again, I think if he does come around, there is definitely going to be competition for places. But I think it could be a very good blend to have someone like him as well as Casemiro. I think having that sort of partnership when you've got players that I wouldn't say too similar, but at least of the same mold, I think it becomes easier for players to play as a partnership well.
Yeah. Where are we putting him, Nick? With a backup option? I feel like that's where you're headed.
For me.
Yeah.
Personally, I'd go.
Right. Let's put him in the backup options. Yeah, he's one to watch. I think players like you look at over the summer, potentially a move on the cards somewhere. I think there's going to be a bunch of players like that. This is one where I'm going to get his name pronunciation wrong, but I'm going to give it a go. Christos Mazoukic. I don't know if I got that wrong, but I'm sure I did. Plays for Olympiacos. 19 years old. He plays with his left foot, so yeah, left-footed players are always a bit in favour in football at the minute. So it's an important sort of thing to look at. Obviously, a very, very young player, like extremely young into his career, but he has made 22 appearances for Olympiacos this season, and he started half of those. He's got 2 assists as well this season. Average structure 42 touches per game, 6 chances created, 2 key passes per game. So he's much more on the front foot than sort of Tyler Adams and I would say Alex Scott is. So I'd say he's more in the sort of bracket of like Kobbie Mainoo and Adam Morton, who we'll get onto later. He has been linked quite heavily with us over the last couple of months, and he seems like he's one of those guys, these sort of youth players that we get in. So maybe a Patrick Dorgu type player or a Diego Leon type guy who comes in, and Patrick Dorgu's obviously come in and smashed it and hit the ground running, whereas Diego Leon struggled to get into the team. So he's probably going to float between those two. I know you don't know much about him, Nick, but this seems like a sign of the future, what INEOS are trying to do in terms of purchases. Young, talented players, see if they make it in the first team. If not, sell them for a profit later on.
Yeah, first and foremost, the potato pun with this is extremely difficult. Because his name's Christos, I'll go Chris Boss. Are you having that? Can I have that? Okay.
It's potato adjacent, isn't it?
So. Exactly. Yeah, you're right. I don't know much about him. I haven't seen him. But one thing I do know about is INEOS's scope for talent and the kind of good deals that they get on him. You can go throughout all, Aiden Heaven was one who no one really heard of until we went in for him, £1 million, like sound. Chido obviously looked promising, whether it comes to fruition or not, we don't know, but it looks like he's got talent, and the list is endless. There's loads that we've gone for. So when you go for these type of signings, it's low risk. So you go in, you pay, 1, 2, 3 million, a lot of times max. And look at the risk that Brighton took on Carlos Baleba, who I'm sure, again, we'll speak about a little bit later. Or Moises Caicedo, they spent a couple of £1 million on. So I'm always up for these type of signings. Someone no one's heard of. If you can bring in a gem who ends up working out in the Premier League and you don't need to flip for money because we're Man United, but if you can always do that anyway and it don't quite work out and you can flip it for 20 million, it's a win-win, isn't it? So I would never look down on these type of signings. I'll always be positive about them if they've done their due diligence and research.
Yeah, I never mind clubs taking chances on players if you don't pay big fees for them. Like if I don't like taking a chance on Rasmus Højlund, that was stupid. Like why are you paying 60, 70 million to take a chance on a player who scored 9 goals? And think like that's just unacceptable. Whereas Christian Mazoukic, maybe go like you said, maybe he's 5, 6, 7 million, something around that, because he's fairly new to his career. He's playing at Olympiacos. It's not exactly like a top level club. So I think, he's a potential interesting young sort of player. Yeah. Do you know anything about him, Shreyas, or do you think, are you along the similar lines of us, like you've not really sort of heard much about him?
Not heard a lot about him. A lot of clubs have been keeping tabs on him for the past few months, for sure. But again, this is the sort of signing that doesn't hurt you. And I think this is the sort of signing you can accommodate further in the window. That you've got your first choice player in there in that midfield, then just to strengthen and create sort of depth options for yourself, you go in for someone like him just to have that sort of cover, that in case something does happen in the season, you've got someone to come on and do a job for you. And like you mentioned, paying 5 to 6 mil for a youngster doesn't hurt you as much.
No, I agree. Should we put him in? I don't want to say unlikely, because I can see us doing something like this. So should we put him in backup, just because he might just be a youth player that comes in?
Yeah,
I agree.
But this next guy, I had not heard of him until today. I think today or yesterday, but Shreyas knows about him. Hugo Larsson from Eintracht Frankfurt. One of his strengths is ground duels, which we know Manuel Ugarte is not very good at. 21 years old, plays with his right foot. Obviously, he's playing in the Bundesliga, which history-wise, we've not done too well in terms of getting players from that league, but obviously it's not like an appearance. He's only had 2 appearances this season, however, because he's been injured for quite a lot of the season. So that is a concern. However, he does get on the ball a lot, 54 touches per game, 2 tackles per game, possession 0.5, balls recovered 4, dribble pass 0.25, block shots per game 1, no errors leading to goals. But again, that's based on 2 appearances. So yeah, it's a bit of a worry. He's 21 years old and he's already been injured. Hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4 times.
4 times. Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a worry. Shreya, you know about this guy? Yeah. What sort of player are we getting?
I think he really broke out to the scene under Glasner when Glasner was at Frankfurt, and he was incredible that season under Glasner. Like, he was someone who Bayern were eyeing a lot, and a lot of other clubs across Europe were eyeing a lot. A youngster coming through and performing that well. And Glasner has been quite successful at Frankfurt. Kolo Muani was sold for big bucks, and a lot of other strikers as well there.
Yeah.
But since that season, and since Glasner left Frankfurt, he hasn't been the same at all. Like, at all. Yeah. And his third season and second season were a bit poor in comparison to how he started off there. And the injuries haven't really helped his case either. I think it's a very risky signing. If United do actually, eye him as someone to get into this sort of setup, I think it's a very risky signing to make, because he's very young and he's struggling with injuries, and at the same time he's struggling with inconsistencies in his performances as of now. So to get someone who's struggling with confidence from the Bundesliga to the Premier League, and then asking that player to adapt and fill in the shoes of someone like a Casemiro, I think it's too big of an ask for such a youngster. And I think we should genuinely be deviating away from this, because Frankfurt know how to sell players for big bucks, especially young prospects. So if United do go in for him, I expect them to ask at least 50 to 60 mil for him.
Yeah. So it's not really good news, is it, Nick, all on the front here? Like, been injured, Bundesliga players, I know you're not a big fan because we've not worked out quite a lot of them. Frankfurt charge a lot of money. We saw Hugo Ekitike go for an absolute shit ton to Liverpool. Kolo Muani went for a lot of money. So they know, like Shreya said, they know how to sell players. Is this one just to avoid, do you think?
It's a tricky one, isn't it? It's not I don't like Bundesliga signings. Obviously, Sesko was from the Bundesliga, but it's so hit and miss. You don't really know what you're going to get from there. So he might go on and be an incredible player. He might go on and be an absolute flop. But I just think there are better ones, more astute ones on this list for me personally to go for, rather than pursuing someone like him, and relatively very unproven as well. It's that, and he would cost more, like you say, because it's Frankfurt. There's a bit more of a reputation, especially in Europe, involved with it. They're going to demand a 10 to 20 mil fee rather than the Greek player that we was talking about is 2 to 3, because Bundesliga tax and all that kind of stuff. So not for me personally, no.
All right, we'll put him in unlikely. So I think it's a bit harsh to put him in. Absolutely not. Next guy, he's a guy been talked about a lot. Again, another England guy who's going to go to the World Cup. Adam Wharton plays for Crystal Palace. Again, was under Glasner. Fantastic player. I think I've said this a million times, and I've used this phrase a million times, but he is the most Spanish midfielder who's not Spanish that I've ever seen. Like, he's insanely good with his passing ability. He's 22, obviously plays for Palace. Again, left footer, really good at pressing, really good playmaker. Like, I think he's a phenomenal player. Again, though, he has had a few injuries, but since last May, I think, he's not had an injury, so he has found a bit more consistency. But last season, he was a bit hampered. 27 games this season, started 26 of them, 5 assists. So he's underperforming his expected assist, actually. So he's actually expected to get 6. So he's a little bit underperforming there. 11 big chances created, 1.2 key passes per game. No goals so far, but yeah, just an absolute phenom playmaker in the making. I think this is a potential player that could play right next to Kobbie Mainoo, and I think the deep line play, almost like a Carrick style midfielder. Nick, like, what are your feelings on sort of Adam Wharton?
Yeah, he's a little bit like a Tom Brady in the midfield in a sense. I think his composure is one of the most impressive things about him as well. He seems very unfazed.
Yeah.
By no matter what situation he's in, whatever
he's
team.
He's from Lancashire as well, by the way. Like, he's from the Northwest. So.
And he's just very reserved, and that's kind of comes, well, not across in his football because he can put a tackle in, but he's just very calm, composed, plays through the lines really, really well, like Elliot Anderson does, which is why I think it's fascinating. Because he's going to be in direct competition with Elliot Anderson for the England camp, which he was speaking about the other day. I do think he's a top talent. There's just something with me, though, where he wouldn't be as high as Anderson or someone that
However,
kind of level.
Is he, like, we'll get on to Anderson later, would we face less competition for Adam Wharton than Elliot Anderson, so he's more gettable? And the price point, I think, would be better at Palace than it would with Nottingham Forest.
You're right, it would. But I think you pay top dollar or for top players. The competition's there for a reason, isn't it? So, and I think that midfield needs players to hit the ground running, like Cunha has done with us, or other players. So, and I trust INEOS to do that. So, Wharton's just that little level below. I wouldn't be upset. Don't get me wrong if we signed him. I think he's a really, really top player. He's I don't know. I'm not absolutely fully sold on Adam Wharton, but he is really, really good.
How are you feeling, I'm sure? Because, again, I think me and Chivy are very big fans of him. Like, I'm a massive, massive fan. Like, that's just a style of midfielder I like. But, yeah, what are your thoughts on him? Obviously, you watch the Premier League like we do, like, week in, week out. What do you think of Adam Wharton?
I think he's a phenomenal talent. Like, regardless, I think there is no doubt about how big of a player he will be with at such a young age, the way he plays. It is very rare to see players, have this sort of intellect, have this sort of, I would say, smartness on the ball as well, especially, considering, the type of players he's been coming up against on a regular basis. He's been coming out on top. He's been one of the, more better performers if I have to look into that Palace team. And I think if Carrick is to stay on as manager, I think Adam Wharton is someone he'd be really keen to look at as well, because I think he can really elevate him. And with what, Wharton brings to the table, I think it could be a very sound partnership with someone like a Kobbie Mainoo in there, with someone like a Bruno Fernandes in there as well. But again, there will definitely be more competition. There will be more options. But regardless, I think if he comes in, he'll fit in quite well. And especially with what we demand from that sixth position, that you cannot be a unidimensional six who can just, win off the ball and just, sort of play it sideways. He's not that player. If you want someone to spread the ball out after taking the ball from the defenders and keep, taking care of the ball, he's your guy. And again, if we do sign him, I'll be over the moon, because I think, again, he's an exceptional talent.
Can I just add to that as well? I think the one thing with Adam Wharton, I like quite a bit of aggression in the midfield. Someone who, like Casemiro, you get a bit of madness with him, don't you?
Yeah.
And obviously attacking the box is going to be a big thing, and defending the box as well. He isn't one of those players who does that.
Not an aggressive aerial duel.
That's what I mean. Aerial duels, kind of like on the ground, he can hold his own. He's pretty competent, but I think you'll lose an element bringing him in because of that. And I think him and Kobbie, as much as it could work, I also think they're very similar in terms of very calm, and they don't put themselves about quite a bit. I think you need a bit more of a destroyer, in my opinion.
Yeah. I would put him in personally must sign, but Nick seems to be of a bit of a lower opinion. So should we go great if we can?
I would.
Rather than back up.
Yeah.
Let's put him in there. Bruno Guimarães. Obviously, we did a full show on this, Nick, a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
Talked about him and Sandro Tonali, who we'll get on to in a minute. 20, I think 28. He will be 29 this season. So that, again, the age profile is a little bit worrying. He's currently out injured, but he doesn't tend to be quite that injury thing. Again, high pressing, really good playmaker, can play in the DM, can play in the 8. I think he's even played in the 10 points during his career. I think he's 23 appearances, started 22 of them this season, 4 assists, overperforming his expected assists. Key passes 1.7 per game, 5 big chances created. I think he's got 9 goals, which for a midfielder is great. I think that's similar to what's Casemiro on 8 goals.
Yeah,
it's very similar in that sort of vein. I don't think he's as good with his his passing as Casemiro, even though he is a good passer of the ball. I think he is a good passer. I don't think he has those diagonals that Casemiro is able to hit and stuff like that. But I think he's a phenomenal player. I just worry about the price point for a 28-year-old going on 29-year-old Shreyas. But yeah, me and Nick has talked about him loads. But yeah, talk about Bruno Guimarães.
Again, I think no one doubts his ability at all in the Prem, especially. I think one thing is I don't regret us signing Casemiro because I think he's given us a lot.
Financially,
yes. I think if we have learned anything from that transfer, then that is you cannot be going out and spending 75 or 80 mil on this sort of a signing, because again he's going to be around for, if I look at it in a positive scenario as well, for 3 seasons.
Yeah.
And if you're going to be spending 80 mil on this type of a signing, you sort of exhaust yourself in one position itself.
Yeah.
And especially when you're not even sure that this player can give you 5 full seasons. So I think if financially something can be worked out, he can be exceptional, especially along having someone like Bruno Fernandes in the midfield and Menu in the midfield. And one thing I do like about this transfer is that he brings a whole lot of experience into this team.
Yeah.
One thing we lose after losing Casemiro is we lose a lot of leadership and we lose a lot of experience in that midfield. And I don't want us to go into next season with just getting youngsters in there. I think we do need someone else coming in and bringing experience to the table, because I've seen so many times people just splashing the cash, getting youngsters in, and it not working out because
Chelsea.
Other teams as well. There's been a whole lot of cases across Europe as well. So you need to have that sort of strong core, and you can only develop it when you've got experienced players in your setup. So if we can get him, I think he can be exceptional. But we do need to look at it from a financial standpoint as well, because this is a long road game. And if you're going to be, again, switching out your core every 3 to 4 years, it's not a strong project. You need to at least have, I would say, 4 players who can stick around for at least 5 to 6 years for yourself to be giving yourself that sort of foundation of getting new players in and them blending in.
Yeah. Nick, reportedly Casemiro has handpicked him as his replacement. I don't know how true that report is, but I've seen that floating around.
He must have been sat there whilst he was having his dinner with his family, listening to him.
Like Shreyas said, he's experienced. He's the captain of Newcastle, so he's a leader. He's aggressive. He's got that aggression that you want in a player. He's a bit of a wind-up merchant. Is the price point the only issue with this Bruno Guimarães situation?
Yeah, because the whole narrative, like Shreyas just alluded to, is going to be, oh, well, we paid this for Casemiro, and you're giving him a similar wage because Guimarães is on a decent chunk of change at Newcastle. So if he's going to make a move, he's going to want even more, a long contract, 5-6 year contract. So that is what I think will end up kind of putting the move off. But in my opinion, he is the best player out of anyone on that list. I think Bruno Guimarães. I think he's better than anyone on there. Now, someone might argue that Anderson's ceiling might be higher or something like that, but Guimarães as an all-around midfielder is...
As in currently right now.
He's one of the best in the league.
He'll come in and fit right in.
And that's why I think they're pushing it so much, because he will have an impact the exact same as what Cunha has done or Mbumo, or you'll get that with him. And that's why it's such a premium package that you pay for him. So it's whether United want to really break the bank or not.
It's also would piss off so many Newcastle fans, which I would like anyway.
Yeah, equally. I mean, that's just like an extra 10% bonus on
top.
Absolutely.
So should put him in great if we can, because obviously the price is going to be the thing. Or are you two putting him in we must get him?
I'd go must sign.
I'd go must sign as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Put him in must sign then.
I think he's unreal.
I've added this one because he was the secret midfielder that Ben Jacobs spoke about.
Fucking hell, secret
Wilfred
midfielder.
Wilfred Ndidi.
Jesus.
A guy who's past his best, I would say. Had a great sort of couple of years at Leicester, but again, very, very injury prone. He's currently playing at Besiktas. I mean, I would just not go near this guy. Like, I just don't think it's an option.
Absolutely not.
Don't need to waste our time.
No, let's move on. Carlos Baleba. Obviously, this was the big summer transfer we were linked to last year. Brighton were talking anywhere from 100 to 150 million. He wanted the move. There was a lot of sort of movement sort of going on behind the scenes between intermediaries and stuff like that. it's affected his form this season, I would say. He's not had a good season. He started on the bench quite a lot. He's been hooked off in quite a few games. He's not even having the impacts that he was having last season. Like his tackling stats are down, his pressing stats are down, everything is down, and his manager's just not having him in a minute. I still think there's a talent there. I still think he's a good player. But Nick, the fact that he's had his head turned and it's affected his performance, is that a worry for you with Carlos Baleba?
Either he's playing the best 4D chess you've ever seen in your life,
play shit to get the price down,
and really pushing the price down, or it genuinely has affected him. And you can understand it, because when we first initially got linked, we was looking at before he went to Brighton, he was at Lille, and I think he had played like 22 senior games for Lille in France or something. And then came to the Premier League, which is like a big move. Like, oh my God, I'm playing for Brighton, against his Cities and Arsenals, etc. So I do believe that it would have affected him because he is young. I think there's a raw talent there, and I think if anyone's going to get the best out of him, it would be someone like Michael Carrick, because of the position that he played, and he knows it inside out. And he was
that talent doesn't go away, does it? Like, that talent just doesn't go away.
No, but it's more the brain than anything. Like, he just knows. I imagine if you speak to Michael Carrick about playing a deep line midfielder, he would be able to go through everything categorically with you in how to improve in every area. Whereas, maybe if it's about a striker or if it's about a defender, he would probably lean on more like Johnny Evans or, Woodgate or someone like that. So I think he would be under the right tutelage, if you want to say it like that. I just don't know. It feels a bit risky, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It feels a little bit risky.
His performances this season, like he has not.
It's weird though, because he was good in AFCON, wasn't he? Like he had a good AFCON, and I've watched him for Brighton this season, and he's looked really good in games. But then some of the games he's been taken off in like the 30th minute. So I don't know. I'm going a little bit back on this one since we first initially got linked with him. When we first did, I was like, absolutely,
yeah, we all
that
were.
is what we need. Yeah. But don't forget, that was when we were playing 2 in midfield with Amorim.
Yeah.
And everything was different then. So I don't know, strange one.
Is for you, Shreyas, obviously we all know Baleba very, very well. If the price point came down significantly, is it still worth the risk getting him in, or are you of the opinion like this might be a step too far for him?
I wouldn't say it's a step too far for him, because ability wise he's definitely got it, but the whole thing is, at United you need consistency. And I know even if the fee came significantly down, there's no way Brighton are going to sell him for less than 60 mil at all. Like, Brighton know how to sell their assets, and I just know that they won't sell him for cheap ever. And I think for the kind of money that Brighton would be demanding for him, he's not convinced me fully that he's that sort of a player. And if I look at that list and I see other options there, I can see other options giving me more confidence that if they come in, they'll be able to do, a better job, or, hit the ground running when they do come in. With Baleba, it's going to be a massive risk, because again, we are going to be in Europe. And on top of that, I think one of the key areas that INEOS would be looking at as well would be that we cannot be a yo-yo club anymore. That, you are in Europe one season and other season you're not. You need to find that sort of stability where you're, consistently finishing in those, top 4 spots on a regular basis. And for that, you need, consistent players in your setup. And right now, Baleba does not give me that sort of confidence. And even at Brighton, like you mentioned, he hasn't had that great of a season. Ayari has been picked ahead of him in a lot of,
James Milner has been picked ahead of him.
So
maybe we should sign him.
And
he's played for everybody we hate, by the way.
Yeah.
He's played for Leeds, Liverpool, and
club.
City.
Yeah,
so,
every single club. But I think let him stay at Brighton one more season. Probably you'll get a much better estimate as to, is he someone to be looked at or not to be looked at. But I think right now you've got better options in that list.
Sure. Should we? So if we would have done this last summer, he would have been in must sign, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Are we putting him in backup option now? Because
I don't know. I think that's harsh.
You think great if we sign him if we can?
I want a bracket between that.
Right. Which one are you going for, Shreyas?
I would put him in backup options.
I think backup as well. So let's put him there. But Nick, your objection is noted.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I like how you've forgotten the potato puns at this point. You've just given up on that.
It really started getting hard. Once I got past that Greek player, I was like, this is getting tough, man. I don't know.
Right. Sandro Tonali, Bruno Guimarães is a teammate and he's partner in the midfield. Offers a bit something different to Guimarães. Like Guimarães is more of an attacking threat. I think Tonali is much more of a destroyer, which is what Nick was talking about. He's younger as well. He's 25 years old, right-footed. Obviously came from AC Milan where he was highly touted and then obviously had 6 months because of a gambling issue. So it took him a while to get going. 1.4 tackles per game, 0.4 possessions won, 4.4 balls recovered, 0.1 dribble pass per game, 0.7 clearances per game, no errors or no shots leading to goal. He's also great on the ball as well. 60% of his duels are won, ground duels 69% won, aerial duels 33%, successful dribbles 63%. He's got a rocket of a fucking shot as well. He's got a goal this season. I think he's a very, very talented player. Nick, you've obviously spoke about the massive of like Bruno Guimarães. Obviously, Tonali is a different type of profile. Why do you lean towards Guimarães more than say Sandro Tonali?
It's not a lean more towards him. I think Guimarães, in my opinion, is more talented and is a better player.
Yeah.
But Tonali equally
is he more suited to the system? Do you think?
So he's a better replacement for Casemiro, like for like. Interestingly enough, Craig Hope, who is probably the biggest journalist around the Newcastle, any transfers that's ongoing, has just put out United are expected to make a formal approach to Newcastle for Sandro Tonali after the season's end. Tonali is set to emerge as United's main target ahead of Elliot Anderson and Adam Wharton, and Bruno Fernandes has shown his support for this signing as well. So that seems very, very serious.
That's
that he's just put that out from that journalist in particular.
You think as well with Newcastle, they ain't letting both of them go.
No chance.
It's one or the other, isn't it? Like it's going to be one or the other.
So there's obvious interest there, serious interest there, and I think for that reason, I'm sure they'll have a list and they'll look at it and they'll go, Tonali's very, very achievable. He clearly wants to move out of Newcastle. There's no smoke without fire. His agent's been going on about it as well.
They're not going to be in in for him, reportedly.
Yeah, but I just don't get it because he's not. Zubimendi and Rice are going to start for Arsenal, like 9 out of 10 times. Yeah. We can offer and go this Champions League football.
You will start.
You're going to start. You're going to be Casemiro's replacement, and you're going to have Bruno Fernandes and Kobe alongside you. Tell me that's not tempting. Yeah. And you probably get a wage increase as well from what you're on at Newcastle.
Definitely. And you play with Maguire.
Yeah, well,
Manchester's a nicer city as well than Newcastle.
Yeah, I mean, there is no downside to this move. For me, I will go straight off the bat. He's a must sign tonight. I think he's an unreal player.
Shreyas, what are you feeling? Must sign?
He's my first preference, even ahead of Guimarães. I just think that I get Bruno Guimarães. I think he's more of an all-rounder. When you look at him as a midfielder, like a complete, if you want to look at a complete hybrid who does everything, he's the one. But I think Tonali is just as amazing. Like if I have to look at it from a partnership perspective as well, I think Tonali and Kobe Mainoo sound much better.
Yeah.
Because again, Tonali is your destroyer profile, but at the same time, if I have to, you have to look at someone who's quite commanding when it comes to set pieces. Tonali has that. He's very aggressive when it comes to winning of ground duels as well as aerial duels. He's got good numbers there, very balanced, and at the same time, he's not someone who goes invisible in games, which I really like. Like even in games when Newcastle haven't done as great and he's been on the pitch, he's been able to show his presence. And I think that sort of ability is something that United do really need. That when games do get tough, you need to look at figures in your team who can just sort of bring you that sort of energy and change the tone of the game. And I think he's someone who definitely has that. And again, he's played at AC Milan. Now he's played at Newcastle. He's got a good even though he's still quite young, he's a very experienced player. Yeah. And he's played at the Champions League level for quite some time, quite a few seasons. So I don't see any downside to this Tonali deal. And again, with the sort of financial packages being considered, if you're going to be paying 80 million, I would rather pay that for someone like a Tonali instead of Bruno Guimarães, because he can stick for 6 to 7 years and still be playing at the topmost level.
I think he'd be cheaper than Bruno Guimarães, personally.
He could be.
I think they would demand more for Guimarães than they would for Tonali.
Let me have a look at Tonali's contract. Is it till 2028 or something? I think
something
it is.
Like that.
So his contract extended until 2029 with the option of an additional year. So that's 3 years that he's got left. So they're in a pretty strong bargaining position. But that it's one of those where if he starts pushing, or he might have something in his contract, like he was saying Guimarães has, where it says if they don't make Champions League football, then they can move elsewhere or whatever.
Also, despite what Newcastle fans say, they may need to sell due to sort of PSR thing.
They will have to sell.
I know they like to sell. We don't need to sell, but
I'm not hosting. If I was hosting, I'd put the sound on.
We don't need to sell, but they will. We've got a problem though. If we put him in must sign, we're not going to get both Guimarães and Tonali, so we're going to have to drop one of these out. So
I would be happy to drop Guimarães out for Tonali.
Me too.
I agree with Shreyas.
Let's put Guimarães in. Great if we can then.
Yeah.
Because I think you're not going to get both of these guys.
No.
Right. Shreyas, the floor is yours. Angelo Steeler, let's talk, because Nick, you can switch off for 5 minutes.
Fucking go to the
you
room?
Just nod off for a bit.
Jesus.
Have you got a potato pun for Steeler?
Angelo Steeler.
You have a think about that while I really starts out.
Okay.
24 years old, plays for Stuttgart, again, left-footed. Me and Shreyas have talked about this guy, God knows how long, along with Anton Stack. 27 appearances this season, 23 starts. Expected assists 6.52, actual assists 5, 83 touches per game, so he gets on the ball a lot. 9 big chances created, 1.7 key passes per game. Likes to cross, long balls, all this sort of good stuff. He's actually got a goal as well, which is not really his game. I love this dude. I think his positioning is fantastic. His eye on the ball is great. He's great in ground duels. He's consistent in the way he plays. Yeah, talk to me about him, Shreyas. I like this guy a lot.
Very aggressive, and again, with the sort of finances that are being talked about, I think it's a steal of a buy.
35 million release clause.
A stealer of a buy.
There you go. Nice.
Yes, nice. And again, Casemiro has handpicked Guimarães as a possible replacement, handpicked him as a replacement. Imagine Toni Kroos handpicked this guy as a replacement for him at Madrid. So he's definitely got something about him. But other than that as well, someone who knows how to play those diagonal balls, someone who knows how to shift the play from one flank to the other flank. I think he's someone who's not being considered quite seriously at this moment by United. But I think for 35 million, and especially someone who can, right now we struggle when it comes to okay, we have to sub Casemiro off, or if we have to sub Menu off, who do we actually get on? And the only option you've got is Manuel Ugarte. If you've got someone like Steeler there, you've got someone who can really take care of the ball, someone who can play well. One of the things I like about him, he knows how to play in a counter-attacking system. At the same time, he's not someone who's uncomfortable when it comes to keeping on the ball, trying to just retain possession. And he's a very good hybrid. I think as a hybrid midfielder, he checks off all the boxes. And we've been saying it for quite some time that this season we are going to be needing 2 midfielders, even though we might just lose 1 midfielder in Casemiro. You need
probably
2 players
as well, to be honest.
I mean,
you need the bodies, don't you? You need people to replace them.
You need players in there, and it's going to be another long season. You're going to need options for yourself. You're going to need depth. Even if we do promote, players, youngsters from the academy, you still need players to come in and do a job for you. And I think he's someone who can create a big positive impact for you.
Yeah, no, I like him a lot. 35 million release clause, as we spoke about. There was 2 midfielders me and Shreyas said to go after last summer. Steeler, did he do his ACL? Is that what he did?
Yeah. He was out
his injury and stuff, and then obviously Anton Stack, who's gone to Leeds, who I would say go after him if they got relegated, but they seem like they're going to be safe. Nick, I know you don't know as much about Angelo Steele, but as an option for squad depth and who offers a different sort of profile to the current players we've got, what are your thoughts? And the price point is great as well.
Angelo potato peeler. Can I have that?
That's all right. That's not bad. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Those definitely depth option. I would, just because European player as well.
Yeah.
Obviously not Frankfurt. Sorry,
Stuttgart.
I'm not sure if they've been prominent in Europa League. So obviously a bit of experience there, which is decent. The price point you mentioned is good. Yeah. So he wouldn't be in the same bracket as Wharton, Guimarães, Tonali, something like that. But backup options, I think definitely cool. I'd consider. But again, you guys know more about him than I do. I've not seen that much.
I think if you brought Tonali in for the big price point and a Steeler, I think that's a hell of a fucking midfield buys there.
Definitely achievable as well.
It's achievable,
it's something INEOS would do.
Yeah, because you spent 200 million on the attack, so you probably Tonali you're looking anywhere from like 70 to 100 mil, aren't you? Like anywhere in that price point.
Yeah.
Steelers 35 million, so that takes you to what 135, 140 million. So you've already spent 200 million on the attack. Like I think that's doable. I would put great if we can, personally. Shreyas, I don't know about you.
Yeah, me too. I'd put him in great if we can.
Cool. João Gomes. João Gomes is at Wolves currently, who are on the cusp of relegation. Like they are relegated, but they're just not officially relegated yet. Right-footed, 25 years old. Is one of 3 Gomez's at Wolves. Did you know that? Like there's 3 Gomez's at Wolves, which is mad. 29 appearances, started 26 games. He's more of a defensive player, so 1.1 interceptions per game, 2.9 tackles per game, 5.7 balls recovered per game, 1.4 dribble pass, 1.3 clearances per game, 0.2 blocked shots, 0 errors leading to goals. Yeah, I really like this guy, and I think he might be, again, a great backup option or a great depth option because he's arguably been one of their best players this season. I know they've had a terrible season and they're going down, but you could pick up someone like that, a really, really cheap player, because they're going to need money on the way back down to the Championship. I think it could be a good bargain to get in as a backup option. What do you think, Nick?
I was trying my best to think of a potato pun for João Gomes, but if anyone can think of one, please let me know, because that is
leave it
hard.
In the comments.
Leave it in the comments. I'm sure, like you're saying, Casemiro's got an influence with Guimarães or whatever. I'm sure Cunha's definitely got an influence with João Gomes and told him all about Man United.
He knows about him.
And it'd be an easier kind of move to go for, but then the easiest ones aren't always the best ones to go for, just because it's a bit more of a tap-in. I mean, he's industrious. He's good on the ball. He's certainly been Wolves' best player. Or up there for the past couple of years.
Maybe Mateus, Mane, those two.
Yeah, Mane's just obviously come prominent in the last kind of month or so. He's been a standout for them for quite a bit, João Gomes. So I don't know. I think he's going to get maybe a move to like an Everton, maybe in the top 10 or something like that. I think that's probably
Brentford,
more,
something like that.
Possibly Palace.
I think he'll go somewhere like that and be good, and then make that move up to a bigger club potentially. As a backup option, I wouldn't say no, but it doesn't exactly excite me a lot personally.
What do you think, Shreyas and João Gomes?
I think it's highly unlikely we go for him, considering the options we've got on the table. When you've got other players, you've got much, I would say, better options to go for. I think United would tend to look at it. Those options more rather than João Gomes, because again, I think United will be really aggressive in this summer transfer window, because I think INEOS do understand that you've made it into Champions League football, but now the real work starts to maintain your position in there, and we are not going to the Champions League just for the sake of it and playing 6 to 8 games and then crashing out of the competition. I think they would at least make their best effort to at least get to the next stages and move further into the competition, and for that I think you need more than a João Gomes. I think he's still being Wolves, the best player at Wolves for the past 2 seasons is not a big ask, considering how they've been playing for the past 2 years. So
considering they sell all their best players normally as well.
Exactly. And again, if I have to go in for someone like João Gomes, I think he's not that big of an upgrade than what you've already got at United.
All right, let's put him in unlikely then, I would say, because I think it's a bit harsh to put him in absolutely not. Your boy, Nick, Elliot Anderson, has been absolutely phenomenal this season. Has broke his way into the England team. He's the 8 the 6 that you need. I think 23 years old, so yeah, he's still extremely young. Obviously, I think they bought him from Newcastle's academy, I want to say.
Yeah, Newcastle's academy.
Yeah, phenomenal like output in terms of his passing. 2.9 tackles per game, 8.2 duels won, possession lost like 15, fouls won per game 1.5. 2 assists this season, 2 goals. Like the guy is all over the pitch. His passing ability is phenomenal. His ability to break the lines. There's a reason why he's probably going to be starting England midfielder come the World Cup. Yeah. Why should we not get this guy, Nick? What is the reason why we should not get this guy?
I think he's the next kind of Declan Rice of that type of big signing. Obviously, we knew Arsenal and Man City were both publicly interested, and they offered to go the extra mile and look at the impact it's had on their team. Like, he is by far their best player, in my opinion, and is probably in a shout for Premier League Player of the Season. And if he wins the Prem and the Champions League, he could be in contention for a Ballon d'Or as well. That's how well he's doing. So I think Elliot Anderson has all the ability in the world to become that kind of next guy. I think his progressive passing is one of the best things about him. He will just cut through teams like nothing. When they're
it's just something we don't have in our team.
Have it. Adam Morton's really good at it as well, but he just paces teams like easy. He always seems to pick the right pass, and then his energy as well for the Premier League is just
he's combative as well. He's aggressive.
He's perfect for it. He really is. I imagine he's gonna have a really good World Cup. His price is gonna go up even more. City are there and interested. They're gonna need kind of a Rodri replacement at some point. Although Rodri's looked pretty good in the past couple of games.
He also said today that he would not turn down a move to Real Madrid. Do you see that interview?
Yeah. Steady on, Elliot. Steady on. You know what I mean?
No, not Elliot. Rodri.
Oh, Rodri. Oh, yeah, I saw that. That like was all flirting, wasn't it? Really flirtatious with
interesting there.
I think he might know Pep's maybe on the way out, and he's like, if I can get a move to Spain or whatever, then I will do. But Anderson's got to be in the same bracket as Tonali for me. He's got to be a must sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shreyas, talk to me about Elliot and say anything that Nick's not saying. I think this is the guy. The only reason why I think we might not get him is if City come in and start chucking the money around. That I think that's us done.
I think again for me he falls in the must sign category, but again I just feel it's highly unlikely we get him because I know City are going to make a big play for him, and according to what I heard, City are quite advanced when it comes to Elliot Anderson. And again, if he comes in at United, I think he'd be a like-for-like replacement in that midfield. And alongside Menu, I think it is going to be an incredible pairing. But I just think City have a much better chance of actually signing him and getting him in rather than United.
Yeah. If Tottenham decide to get their act together and fucking stay up in the Premier League,
when's that happening, Nick?
And West Ham do it as well, and they go down, then you talking like you could probably get him on then, price. To stay in the Premier League, it's going to get heavy financially.
It's 100 million, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Declan Rice, what, 105 he went for in the end? You're probably looking
it's going to get expensive.
Yeah, like it's definitely going to be pricey. So, yeah, moving on to his last two, fairly recent, sort of like Luciano Gomes. Again, don't know much about the guy. Plays for Sevilla. He's 24 years old, so again in the age bracket that United kind of look at. He's strengths of positioning and tackling, so he's an aggressive player, which is what we're after. 2 assists so far this season with a goal, but again, his defensive stats are the ones you got to look at. So 1.3 interceptions per game, 1.7 tackles per game, 3.8 balls recovered per game, 1.2 clearances per game, and 0 errors leading to shot or goals. His name's floated around, Nick, quite a bit. I know Carl Anker mentioned him in his list, but United are not potentially interested in. His current market value is around about £11 million, so could be a really cheap option. Sevilla, again, I don't know much like how they're doing in La Liga at the minute, but
not great.
Right, fair enough. Thoughts on Luciano Gomes?
Yeah, I remember seeing him in that piece that Carl wrote, and so I decided to have a look at some of the scout reports on him and stuff, and watch clips of him. I think we actually put a clip out on our socials as well. And he looks good. He looks all right. But I'm just trying to think of people who are 24, 25 from other leagues who have come into the Prem and done really well. Yeah, it's one that I struggle with a little bit. I mean, if it's 10, 15 million, to be fair, we went and got Mazraoui for that price point, didn't we? And Mazraoui's been pretty good for us. So, again, not a huge risk involved.
You got Dorgu for 20.
Yeah, so it's not an absolutely not like an Ndidi. I think it's unlikely, personally.
Unlikely. You agree, Shreyas, on the unlikely?
Yeah, I think he's a good player. He's talented, but you've got better options to look at, at this moment.
Yeah. And then finally, Mateus Fernandes, who is at West Ham again, probably one of their best players this season.
Good player.
He's been really, really effective this season. Again, plays his tackling, his long balls, his positioning. He can play in a multitude of positions. He's 21, so he's probably younger than most of the players we've got on the list here. Maybe apart from Christian Mizuktic. He is an interesting player. He's come to prominence this season. He's had quite a sort of interesting career. Like, where did they buy him from? Let me find this.
Southampton.
So yeah, assists this season, three goals, 2.25 expected assists. So he's overperforming his expected assists. 57 touches, 2 big chances created, 1 key pass. But he's equally good in the sort of defensive side as well. 2.8 tackles per game, 4.9 balls recovered per game, dribble past 1.2, clearances per game 1. So yeah, he's a really interesting player, Nick. Like, I like what I've seen of him so far in the Premier League. I think he could be a really interesting pickup. I don't know if you could get him for a decent price though from West Ham. I think they might charge a premium on him.
Again, depends if they go down in it. If they go down, they might be a different.
I think West Ham will stay up personally. I think.
Yeah, that's going to change the market a lot. What happens with kind of a few clubs. Yeah, I like him. I think for some reason I find myself watching West Ham a lot more than I should do the past couple of weeks. And he is kind of high energy, high volume in everything that he does. He just gets about the pitch like you wouldn't believe. So he definitely suits the Premier League. He's young. Would it be too early of him to go get him now?
Possibly.
Maybe. Like he was speaking about before. I said maybe they need that move up first. João Gomes, was it?
João Gomes.
Maybe they need that move first before we was to go in for him. But he's definitely an exciting talent, and I think regardless whether United go in for it or not, I think another team's going to pick him up because he is decent. But I still want to see a bit more before I make a full judgment, if that makes sense.
Yeah, he's said Bruno Fernandes is his favourite player and his favourite sort of person to look up to. Shreyas, what do you think of Mateus?
I think he's more comfortable in a box-to-box role, and I think that's where you see the best out of him when he's allowed to play as that sort of advanced eight. Someone who's got the freedom to move forward. Again, likes to get stuck in, is quite aggressive. Has got a very good shot on him as well. Is very comfortable in around the box, no doubt about it. And I just think it's a move just too soon right now.
Yeah.
I think he still needs more experience. I think he still needs to understand, the pressure and the ability needed to be at Manchester United, because again, he's had 1 season at Southampton, as I believe, in the Prem, 1 season at West Ham right now. I think there's a whole lot more yet to be seen. And when you look at other players who who are there on the table, you've got some options there who you can say have been by far top 5 or top 6 midfielders in the Prem for 2 to 3 years now. So I think it's just a move too soon. And again, West Ham wouldn't sell him cheap. If you're going to be paying that sort of value, better to pay it for someone like a Wharton instead of someone like a Mateus Fernandes.
Where are you putting, backup or unlikely?
Unlikely, I would.
Unlikely.
Yeah.
So that is the tier list, ladies and gentlemen. Have a look. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know where you would put certain players. Final question, lads. Don't go into too much detail, but you can pick 2 midfielders from this list we've got here to fix Man United's midfield. Nick, who are you picking?
Do you mean in terms of what would be best balance?
Yes.
Do you think? Weirdly enough, I think it'd be Tonali and Bruno. I think them two would be perfect.
Which is the most unlikely one.
Most unlikely, most unlikely, but they'd be the best together, in my opinion.
Shreyas?
I'd say Tonali and Steele, Tonali or Scott.
I agree, Tonali and Steele. That would be my pick as well. I think price-wise and like balance-wise, I think that works. But yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments. Let us know who you would pick. Let us know if we got one of these wrong. Let us know if there's a midfielder you think we've been linked with that we've missed out.
And also, any potato puns are really appreciated.
Yes.
And we'll know if you've watched to the end of this video, because we are missing potato puns for the players. So
Nick
creative.
Needs his help.
Do what you do.
Help and stuff like that. So if you haven't, let me just get the merch up. If it's going to work, or have I got to stop sharing?
I've got it here next to me.
Yeah, Nick's got the thingy one.
There you go. Tesco shirt, beautiful. Cop yourself one, please. Viral Sesco shirt.
I'll put the merch one. It's that. There we go. So yeah, if you want to get some merch like the Sesco one that is behind Nick, or the caps that me and Nick have got on, a mug, a hoodie, please do go check out. The link is in the description. And then the socials. If you follow us on the socials, this is the old one still. God damn it.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, the socials, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all that stuff in there. Please do go follow us on there for all the latest clips and news. And then, there was a new show we did yesterday, so please do go check that out if you didn't see it. And we'll probably be back for a Sunday social or something this weekend, I'm sure, to talk United. Lads, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries.
And we'll see you all soon. Peace.
Yeah.